Thanks, everybody. Good morning. No opening statement from Masai. Wants to get right to it, so go ahead with questions, please.
What's happening?
Michael.
Morning, Masai.
Morning, man. What's happening?
Not much. Michael Grange, Sportsnet. Just want to ask you how, if you were to attach an adjective to this season coming up, what would you use? Would it be rebuilding? Would it be, would it be competitive? Like, is there a kind of evaluation you might want to provide for the season before it even starts?
I would use the word rebuilding. That's the right word to do. I think we have a clear path now going forward. First of all, thank you for being here, and hope everybody's doing okay. Yes, rebuilding, young team, growing team. I think we set a path that we went into the draft last year and got a couple young players, and we want to continue to grow and build this team around Scottie, who's 23 years old, and continue to grow as a team. So yes, in sports, you always want to be competitive and you play to win. We're going to play to win, but it is a rebuilding team. I think everybody sees that like loud and clear.
Thank you. We're going to go to Steve Simmons and then John Chidley-Hill.
Masai, Steve Simmons, Toronto Sun. You've been very close to Larry Tannenbaum in your time with the Raptors. And there's obviously been a change now in the ownership, or will be a change when the deal is done, in the ownership of MLSE and by extension your basketball team. Mm-hmm. How does that in any way affect you, how you do your job, and what the future is for you with the Raptors?
It's a good question. I knew that question was coming. I think everybody came out for this one. So I'm going to set the record straight here. Business continues as usual. And I think everybody wants to ask the question of my relationship with Edward Rogers. And we have a great relationship. We've had the same exact relationship for 10 years. My relationship with Larry Tannenbaum is same way, mentor, same relationship. I've kept everything the same exact way. My job here is to do my job and win with this team and go forward with this team. I will address this. When you have negotiations are tough. And people talk about like negotiating, and when we negotiated my contract, yeah, those periods are tough. I had tough negotiations with my son, my 3-year-old son this morning. It's every negotiation. I had tough negotiations with JQ when she was doing her contract. This is life. Yeah, we all go through this. So I want to set that clear that he has never treated me any different. Like from when that went on, we moved on. Everybody moves on. You have tough negotiations with everything we do. That's the nature of my job, and I have to do my job the best possible way that I can do it. In terms of Larry Tannenbaum, he's always been a mentor. He'll always be a mentor. These guys have treated me with respect here, and they've treated me well, and we'll keep going like that till we can. For me, that's my job. Guess what? I know I'm going to be judged on the way I do this job. Yeah, that's the way we're going to be judged, on what happens on the basketball court. Yeah, that's why I'm here, and that's what I'm going to do. Yeah, so let's get this whole narrative. Every time something comes up, WNBA war is Masai versus Edward. Any small thing that comes up, clear that. There's nothing. There's zero going on. Okay, but for us to do our job. Keith Pelly was hired here, and I think he's done an unbelievable job, excellent job with streamlining things, bringing things together. I had a great relationship with Marco. I had a great relationship with George Cope when he was here. I wish Bell all the best with all the stuff that's going on. They were very good to me in every single way. So I just want to set that clear and straight with everybody. I'm going to be judged on basketball, not any relationship with anybody or how anything is perceived to be.
Thank you. Chitters.
Masai, John Chidley-Hill with the Canadian Press. On the note of the negotiations between you and MLSE, are they going to be ongoing throughout the season? Do you have like a timeline? Like, how is the sort of the process working?
And there's no timeline and there's no negotiations. My contract is not up for a while, so it's not something we're talking about. You know, like it's business as usual, and we do our jobs.
And we're going to go Doug, Eric, Samson, Cahal.
Hey, Masai, Doug Smith, the Toronto Star. How are you?
Very good, man. What's happening?
Not bad. Given all that Darko had to go through last season with the trades and the injuries and people absences, what do you expect from him this summer, and what have you seen him over the summer grow into the job?
Darko has had an unbelievable summer, and I truly appreciate everything that he's brought on to this team and to the program. His development process is incredible. Attention to detail, player by player. You can ask every single player that has come here. We had various mini camps all over the world. And we know how Darko is. He's a global coach. He uses all his resources to help these players, whether it's from Basketball Without Borders to the Olympics or wherever we were. This player, every single player, including our top players, for RJ and Kelly to appear in a camp a week after, mini camp a week after the Olympics is over, Scottie Barnes taking leadership and Quickley. For us, I think it's trending the right way, and I think that's Darko's imprint on how he wants the team to be, how he wants to play, what he wants the culture to be, and we're in full support of that.
Thank you. So we're going to go to Eric, then Samson, Cahal, Josh.
Eric Corrine, The Athletic. Happy Media Day, Masai.
How are you?
I'm all right. As much as I'd like to ask about your negotiations with JQ, I'll ask about IQ instead.
Yes.
You know, when a contract like that comes first for a player, not only do the on-court expectations come, but sort of it puts somebody in the center of a team or around the team. In your brief time when IQ was here, what made you think he was ready for that sort of more central role on the team?
Talent, his personality, basketball IQ, shooting, a premium in the NBA now, competitive, work ethic. His work ethic is incredible. I saw him in South Africa, wake up every early morning to work out with Darko every single day during Basketball Without Borders. I saw him visit teammates in the Olympics, work out every single day. To me, it's the mindset. What kind of mindset do you have, and what kind of work ethic do you have, and what kind of person, character are you? And Quickley has actually shown us that he is very, very capable of these things, and he'll try his best, he'll try his hardest, and that's all you ask for in professional sports. You're getting paid to do it, and these times and payday come, and business continues as usual for him, and that's what he's shown us.
Samson Folk, Raptors Republic, just over here, Masai. So anytime you or Darko have talked about this team recently, you've preached patience, used the term rebuilding. When I've asked Scottie or IQ about it, or any player, they kind of bristle at the idea of rebuilding. How do you manage that, and how have those conversations gone between you and the players as far as like their vision of competitiveness and how this team looks?
Yeah, I don't want them to talk about rebuilding. That's me. Yeah, they should be talking about winning, and they should be talking about playing and competing. So they're talking about the right thing. Yeah, that's where you want their mindset to be. They do their jobs, we do our jobs, right? But the communication is always there. I'm in constant communication with Scottie Barnes, constant communication with IQ, with RJ, where these guys are players, and we have to keep them in the loop of how we're thinking of this team and growing this team. So. Yes, I want them to think competitive and winning. Yeah, let us think about the team and managing the team. That's our job, and they'll do it as much as they can on their level, But competing is what you want them to be, and they are competitors.
Over to Cahal here.
Hi, Masai. How are you?
Oh, what's happening? I think this might be the first time you've ever asked me a question in a press conference. I'm waiting for Festchuk to ask me one in the press conference.
I wanted to ask a question about the change of ownership, and it creates a conversation about how the owner of a given an entity or a team affects its performance and affects the relationship within the teams. I don't know if anybody's ever asked you how you interact with ownership. How often do you talk to them? What do you talk about? Or maybe you don't talk to them. I don't know.
No, I interact with them. I've always interacted with ownership all the time, whether it's Marco, whether it's Edward and Tony, or whether it's Larry Tannenbaum, and when it was George Cope, and even when it was Glenn Silverstreet, I still have a relationship with these guys and interact with them all the time. That's always going to be clear. I think when you have guys like Tim Laiwicki or Keith Pelly, I think sometimes people talk about what level are these guys and how much control or what do they say. I deal with my job, yes, and my job dealing with Keith Pelly or when Tim Laiwicki was here and interacting with them the best possible way. And same thing with ownership. It doesn't change my relationship, or I don't have to go through anybody to call anybody, but I respect what the levels of these people's jobs are. And to me, it's always very clear, but always had a great relationship with these guys, whether it's meeting with them, whether it's texting, whether it's calling, whether it's asking for something or they're asking me for something. Yeah, in 10 years, there's never been any distractions in whatsoever. And I'm not just saying it here to prove anything or to say anything to you guys. Yes, negotiations were tough, but during my contract, but that's about it. Our relationship has been steady, clear, and the same way for 10 years, and that's how it will continue to be.
So we're going to go Josh, Aaron, Joe, Lindsay, and then we'll see where we're at for all those guys.
Hey, Masai, Josh Lewinberg, TSN.
What's happening?
I'm good. How are you?
Very good.
I wanted to ask you about the two injured guards. Can you take us through the timeline for Bruce, why the decision was made for him to have surgery and why that decision wasn't made earlier? And then in terms of Jakobi, do you anticipate him being ready for the season, and how much do you think this will set him back to start his career, if at all?
I don't think there's any setbacks with Jakobi. It's very unfortunate. He has this strain on his shoulder, but I just spent some time with him this morning and the last couple of days, and he's doing well. And for me, a timeline is a timeline. There's going to be it doesn't set him back in the season because they've just put in so much work all year, and he's a focused kid, and he'll always be like that. For Bruce. Just to make things clear, Bruce was cleared in the summer, and as he began to ramp things up a couple of weeks ago, his knee flared up, and once he did that, we went for another checkup, and the decision was made that he should have surgery, but. All summer, Bruce had been good, and he was working out, and he's participated with the team. And once he began to ramp things up, then it flared up. So our decision there was collective with him, his agent, the doctors, our doctors, and we came up with this with the time frame for the surgery, and we look forward to having him back.
Hi, Masai. Aaron Rose on SI.
How you
Good
doing?
to see you. I'm well.
Good stuff.
How will you measure success in a rebuilding season?
It's a good question. I think the growth and progress of all our players. I think with Darko, like some of the things we're trying to put plays, systems, how we want to play. I think defense, what we're grasping. the progress of our players is going to really tell, and you'll be able to see. Young teams find it difficult to win in this league. That's just the way the league is, but we want to really build on this, and it's not there'll be no excuses on our side. We'll continue to try and compete every night, and we see where progress will be, and some of the things that we need to work on, and some of the things our team is going to need as we build through the future.
So we've got Joe and then Lindsay, and I can probably put 2 more on there.
Hi, Masai. Joe Wolfon with The Score. You guys, for a long time, were a team that really prided yourselves on defense, and the team was built in such a way that that was the end of the floor where you were kind of going to butter your bread. And then, for various reasons, you slipped to 26th in defensive rating last year. So, as you kind of look toward the future and in this rebuilding season, as you've called it, what kind of growth do you see happening at the defensive end of the floor, and like what needs to happen in order to bring that back to the level that you'd grown accustomed to?
Yeah, it's not something we're proud of last year. I think it's going to come down to effort. Some of the effort we make. I think Darko has used this as a point of emphasis this year and this summer, and I think we will continue to try and get better at this. As young players, the type of players, we also have to take responsibility on the type of players we bring, to the program. And I think guys like Shed, Mokbo, those guys are going to help us bring defensive intensity too. And we hope to continue to grow on that. So it's not an excuse for us again. We were not very good at it, and we hope to continue to get better defensively.
Thanks, Masai. We're going to go Lindsay, then Will, and then Mike, and then we'll see where we stand.
Hey, Masai. Lindsay Dunn, City News, just over here.
Hi.
Very bright orange. Earlier in the year, Teresa Rest stepped down to become obviously the president of Toronto's first WNBA team. I'm curious if you guys have hired somebody as a vice president of basketball operations and player development, who it is, if they're here, and how you think they'll help the team.
Yes, I've hired Tyler, and she's standing right there, so you can all look back, and she's going to wave. We're super, super excited. Yes, tough loss with Teresa, but she's gone on to do bigger and better, and Tyler has come on to do bigger and better with us. Well, this position is very, very important. I think in our organization, with operations, with ideas, with creativity, with how we work, and I think Teresa did an incredible job, and Tyler will even take it to another level. I'm so excited for my girl Teresa with her new job and where she is. I think she'll do great, and it's a blessing for us to have that team in Toronto.
Thanks. Go ahead, Will.
Hey, Willu from the Hello and Welcome podcast.
What's happening?
What's up, Masai? How you doing, man?
I'm very good.
I wanted to ask about something you said earlier about Scottie's leadership, and there's been a huge investment put into him. You guys did that press conference earlier this summer when you guys re-signed him. But what have you seen from his growth as a person, as a leader, maybe some examples of what you've seen this summer from him that makes you guys feel really confident about building the franchise around him?
It's really a seriousness, and I was talking to a coach, who coaches Scottie during the summer sometimes, and I asked him, to tell me what the difference is he's seen, and he said, just seriousness, level of intensity in terms of workout mindset, what he wants to accomplish. And then how he holds the team accountable. He's a leader. He's showing it, I think, on the court. But we should not always forget, Scottie's 23 years old, and we all make mistakes. Yeah, I'm 7 years old, and I made tons of mistakes. These guys are going to make mistakes every step of the way. But honestly, what I've seen this whole summer, dedication to work, dedication to really pay attention to what he wants to get better at. I respect that about him, and I think there's going to be some growth with him this year.
Mike, who's back?
Hi, Masai. Mike from L'Express. First question for me, too.
How are you?
I was wondering, what did you like about Ulrich Chomsche that make you make the move to draft him and being the first from NBA Academy Africa to be drafted in the NBA?
Very intriguing young player. I remember watching him the first time at Bal, and he showed incredible instinct defensively, and he also work ethic, playing hard, and that mindset. Those Cameroonian guys, man, they're tough. You know, they know what they want. When I go back to Lukumba Mute, Joel Embiid, our dear Pascal Siakam, Christian Koloko, there's something about those guys that, you know, they fight hard. It's pride for them. They want to succeed. They want to accomplish. And Chomsche is the same way. And we're hoping we can take him and help him develop and grow as a player.
I'm going to try and squash in two more before you have to move on, Masai, and the first one is S.
Hi, Masai. Sven Diaberihini for Forbes. Over the last year, especially this summer, we saw the first summer with the CBA, the new CBA, and I'm wondering if, you know, have you noticed any trends or anything different when talking to other teams about the way that they're operating, maybe in terms of team building?
You know, it's interesting. We're still really studying it. You know, I go to my expert Bobby. These things are tough. With the aprons, it's tough on teams. You know, and we have to be cognizant to the way we build teams and things you commit to and things you don't commit to. As you see, deals are going to be like a little tougher. There were fewer this year, especially during free agency. But our jobs are to find ways, and I don't want to say loopholes, but I get in trouble. But we need to find ways in the new CBA to build our teams efficiently, to produce consistently. We've seen a few teams shed now in terms of contracts, and that's one thing teams are paying attention to, and we all have to pay attention to that.
Thank you. And last question goes to Andrew. Go ahead.
Masai over here. Andrew Damelin with CHCH News.
How you doing?
Good, thank you. Thanks for having me. What's your ideal vision of IQ and Scottie complementing each other or playing off of each other on the court?
Both playmakers, both of them, I think, can attack the rim. IQ is an excellent shooter. There's going to be a level of spacing with how they play. And I think Scottie's size, IQ's quickness, and the ability to stop. You need these kind of versatile players on your team, and we're lucky to have both of them. JQ, let's give Grange. He's been putting his hand here up for like 4 hours. Come on, Grange. And you wore orange too, so thank you.
Yeah, Michael Grange, Sportsnet. So just to get back to the idea of rebuilding, I mean, commonly teams that identify that way are looking to prioritize the draft over any particular outcome in the season. Is that something you're going to consider or manage as the season goes along, trying to take advantage of draft position?
Yeah, I think when teams go through this, you go out and set the tone of how you play and how you want the culture of your team to be set, and you hope for the best. But we all know what reality is in this league, and the draft is a way for us to build teams and to acquire players, especially in a market like our market.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you.
thanks everybody. We'll get started again. Questions for Coach, please. Okay, we're going to start with Adam in the back there.
Hi, Coach. Adam Lascaris, Daily Hive. Obviously, you and others have talked about how important learning from all corners of the globe is when it comes to basketball development. I'm wondering sort of if you can run us through a few of the highlights of your summer and sort of anything you maybe picked up along the way, or important conversations you had with other NBA coaches, former coaches, or anything that really stood out to you this summer.
Good morning, everybody. First of all, I have to acknowledge that we are entering a 30th year of Toronto Raptors, which is very exciting for all of us. And as far as your question, this summer was very productive for us. There was a lot of checkpoints with players, opportunities to talk to them, to work with players. And also there was a lot of opportunity for me and my coaching staff to focus on areas that we want to improve, learning from, from other coaches, other leagues, other teams. It's always opportunity to learn during the summer, and we took it very seriously this year. We did a great job there, and we're feeling very confident entering this season.
Thanks. Sorry, let's go to Doug, right here. Apologies, trying to make a list and it wasn't working.
Darko, how are you, sir?
Doing great, Doug. Good to see you.
Good to see you too. Masai talked about rebuilding when he was just speaking with us half an hour ago. How does a coach, as a competitor, balance long-term rebuilding with wanting to win every night?
Obviously, the goal is to compete and to win every night. That's a goal. But at the same time, we got to understand where we are. We got to understand that the moment of the organization, and we're starting year one of our rebuild. We have very young core. We have guys that we believe in, and we have work to do. So every night we're going to prepare to go and compete and fight and bring the best we can. But at the same time, we got to see the big picture and understand what are we trying to achieve. And we're trying to build a team that's going to compete for championships, and we need to lay down the path towards that.
So we're going to go Josh, then Lewis, then Lindsay, Aaron, and then Chelsea.
Josh Lewenberg, TSN. Hey, Darko, how's it going?
Doing great, Josh.
On the subject of that young core, how do the expectations for Gradey differ from this time last year going into year number 2?
I think they go along the same way. We're expecting from Gradey as much all of other players of the team to show improvement, to show growth. There has to be a bigger picture for him and bigger picture for our team, and there has to be patience. As we all know, when you work with young players, you want to see the growth, but that growth never comes with a linear line. It's always ups and downs, and we had a chance to see that with Gradey last year. What Gradey did a really good job day in, day out is bringing same energy, same effort, same focus, and that allowed him to show the growth last year. So all we want and what we worked on for the last 6 months is to get him to the next level. So I expect a lot of growth, a lot of improvement this year from him.
Thank you. To Lewis.
Hey, Darko. Great to see you. Lewis Atzman, Raptors Republic. A year ago, when we talked about what your defensive goals were for the team, you talked about fewer corner threes, fewer shots at the rim. Both were true last year. How would you say that worked? What is your defensive identity? Has it changed? And what do you expect this upcoming season on that end?
This year, I think we have a clean slate, and we're going to start to build our foundation starting now. And we had the chance during the summer to talk to our players, to set some goals for them. And we can all agree that great defense starts with how you play on the ball, how you start your defense there. So we want to apply more ball pressure. We want to be aggressive. We want to have active hands. And everything starts there. There is one term around the league that when you have a player around the rim who's protecting everybody, that player is called MIG, M-I-G, most important guy. But I changed that with my team this year. For us, MIG, Mig is going to be the guy who, most important guy is going to be the guy who's guarding the ball. And so everything starts there. And from there, we need to see the growth from our players. And also we need to see team schemes being much better to cover for each other. Everything comes down to playing with a lot of effort. Everything comes down to finishing possessions. And finishing possessions is going to be very important for us this year, that we need to improve our defensive rebounding.
Thank you. So to Lindsay, then to Aaron.
Hey, Darko, Lindsay Dunn, City News. You switched things up a little bit this summer, having mini camps that we know of, at least in Miami and in Spain. How do you think that actually helped the players, and why did you kind of want to do it this way?
We wanted this summer to have checkpoints with our players, just to see where they at regarding their individual development. But also we wanted to have a chance to have some team bonding events. During Summer League in Las Vegas, we had pretty much whole roster come over there and support our rookies. And it was a great opportunity for us to go out there and compete and have some 5-on-5 scrimmages. I think that there has to be good balance in the summer, just giving players a little bit of room for their individual work and rest, and to be around their families and friends. And there has to be some connecting points with the team that we can lay down in front of them. What is the plan? What is the path? And what they need to work on.
So was it you next? Okay. I'd erased your name, but that was sorry, Aaron.
Okay. Hi, Darko. Good to see you. Aaron Rose. How, last year at this time, you were coming into a new job, first time here. How have you developed over the past 12 months, and what did you learn over the summer to help you improve over last season?
Great question, Aaron. Obviously, I spent a lot of time thinking about that, and biggest learning last season was how to manage time and how to manage a lot of people. Coaching staff, plus medical, plus all the players on the roster. It brings down to more or less 50 people that you need to manage every single day. And finding time, how you can touch every person and talk to every person and make sure that they are doing well and that you can help them was something that I was learning along the process. And for me, the most important thing was creating processes, how I'm going to be dealing preparation-wise for the games, how I'm going to be preparing for the practices. One thing that I want to do much more this year is to rely on my coaching staff. Last year was getting to know each other, getting to know what I stand for offensively, defensively. We made some tweaks over the course of the summer. And so this year I really want to have my coaching staff to own more things and that I can rely on them even more. As far as for basketball, I always want to learn. I always want to be open book. I'm learning from other coaches. I'm learning from my players, and I'm always open book to learn and get better.
Thank you. So just to recap, we're going to Chelsea, Joe, Savannah in the back, up to Grange in the front, and then Sampson over there. So let's get through those five, and running out of list room here. So go for it, Chelsea.
Chelsea Late, Raptors HQ. Hey, Darko.
How you doing?
Going into this season with a lot of, I guess, outside noise surrounding the team, does having something like the franchise's 30th anniversary celebrations, things like retiring jerseys and celebrating, the history of this franchise, does that do anything to kind of bring a little bit more team chemistry? And how do you use that to kind of motivate a rebuilding team that may not have, maybe a winning season, or while you're rebuilding and trying to create the next kind of phase of this team?
I always use opportunity to educate my team on history of our team, history of our organization, and also to understand what we do and what we represent and who we represent every single day. I think that my engagement and engagement of players in our community is very important. I think it's very important to understand that we represent whole country. And just listening to Vince Carter the other day when he had opening of the courts, he was talking about that. He was talking how when you play here, you represent not only one city, you represent the whole country. And only players that play over here can understand what it means. So for me to educate my players about that and to embrace the community, a lot of our guys this summer spent in and out of Toronto. I wanted them to see Toronto during the summer as well, not just during the season when it's cold. And I think it really helps for everybody to understand that this is amazing city, amazing people, amazing fan base, and that just brings extra motivation for us to be the best we can for our fans.
Thank you. So to Joe now.
Hi, Darko. Joe Wolfon with The Score. I remember you talking last season amidst all the roster turnover and turmoil about how difficult that was on your coaching staff because you're having to like rewrite your playbook kind of every few weeks. Going into a season where it seems like there's a little bit more clarity about what the team is trying to do and the timeline is maybe more aligned. How does that clarity help you, and what does that mean for how the coaching staff is going to be able to operate this season compared to last?
Very good point. So as we start our rebuild, let me explain in those words. It's like building a house, right? The first thing that you do when you're building a house, you need to find land, where you want to build your house. After that, you gotta dig a really big hole so you can make your basement, and you're working on the foundation of the house. And once you get into that process, usually it takes most of the time that you spend building that foundation, right? And a lot of times from the street, you cannot see what's going on. You're not gonna see the results very quickly. But those are the most important steps that we're gonna be making this season now, that when it comes to building walls and putting a roof and windows, it's gonna be much easier and much more visible for everybody to see. So there's gonna be a lot of work, a lot of film, a lot of education on the court and off the court that we gotta do this year. And I'm gonna have a much more holistic approach in developing our team and our roster. And for me, the most important thing is gonna be not skipping any steps. If he needs to stick a little bit longer with some teachings and implementation of stuff, we're gonna stick on that until we really get to the level that we believe that it's time to make next step for the team.
Thank you. So back to Sava, who's at the back on your right, Coach.
Savannah Hamilton, Sportsnet. Hey, Coach. How do you, with that note, assess your strategies and implement what's working or not? And how much leeway do you give the players to develop before you might have to pivot in other directions for the season?
That's a good question. It comes down to the vision, how we want to play, how we want to develop our players. And there's going to be some things that are not negotiable. There are some things that we gotta do at a high level and learn how to get there. But there are also things that are a question of the roster and preferences. And as I said, I'm always open book. I want to hear my players. I want to always have an open communication with the front office and all the people in the organization. And I'm willing to make changes when there is a need for those changes. But I'm going to really keep everybody accountable, including myself, to develop the team and to have a really good foundation for the future.
Thank you, Coach. So just for a reminder, we're going Grange, Sampson, Will, S. Go for it.
Morning, Darko. How are you?
Doing great, Michael. Good to see you.
Good to see you. Michael Grange from Sportsnet. How much do you expect? How do you expect to? What are your expectations for the rookies you're going to have on your roster this year? Obviously, the draft picks and maybe if there's any of the two ways end up having an impact. Do you expect them to be part of the rotation? Is that going to be almost like a goal from the get-go, or is it going to be, it'll be based on their progress?
What we need to understand this year that it's not one game, it's not just the start of the season, and it's going to be, we got to look at this as a big picture. We have 4 rookies on the roster. There's going to be times when those guys will be on the roster. There's going to be times when those guys will be in rotation, maybe starting. There's going to also be times when those guys will need to go to 905 and play games and practice with that team so they can get more reps or develop on certain things that we lay in front of them. So there has to be a good balance there. I think it's very important for all of the guys to get opportunity. Training camp is going to tell us a lot where the players are and what are the areas they need to improve and where they need to get to. So we're going to have an approach that we want to develop definitely all of those guys. And the sooner they develop, it's going to be good for our team and the future of the organization.
Thank
Hey,
you.
Darko.
Go ahead, Samson.
Samson Folk, great suit, by the way.
Thank you.
Tops.
You like the tie, purple
Yeah,
as well?
It's
there you
good,
go.
yeah. I kind of want to, or sorry, Samson Folk, Raptors Republic. I kind of wanted to dig down on what you said about Mig, like most important guy, ball pressure. Ball pressure is not just one guy, as you well know. It's a team concept. Does that include a change in how you guys are guarding at the point of attack as far as like scheme? Because the players are obviously ball pressure, active hands, this type of stuff. I'm sure you've drilled it into them many times, but like, does this mean really persistent lock and trail? Is this a lot of switching at the point of attack? What is your vision for how you maximize your guards and your bigs as far as like providing that ball pressure?
Now we're getting into details of coaching, which I love always when I have those conversations. So for me, there are two things. There is a pick-up point of defense, which usually is transition. In transition, you need to have a really good pick-up point to be 2 steps above three-point line, to shrink the floor, to slow down their transition, and to make them play deeper in a clock. And line of defense is something different. Line of defense is you can be in a half court, but we want to be able to extend catches. We want to be able to be more aggressive, to get more into the ball. And in order to do that, you cannot players to be back and sit back. So I'm going to coach and teach our guys and allow them to be much more aggressive in a half court. But at the same time, that means that everybody else have to provide good protection spots and to be able to make multiple efforts from there.
Thank you. Thanks. We'll go Will, S, and then Matt.
Hey, Darko, Will Liu from the Hello and Welcome podcast. So last season when RJ Barrett joined your roster, a lot of the discussion was, RJ wasn't necessarily efficient at times with New York, and I think that's one of the major changes that happened once he came to Toronto. I want to ask you, how did you sort of improve on that end with him in terms of improving his efficiency, and what do you see as the next step for him going forward?
When you say there was a lot of discussion, I did not discuss about that at all. Maybe it was on your podcast or in New York. I do know when RJ joined us from start, we had open conversations and we explained how we want to play, what we're prioritizing on offense. And he was able to blend in very, very easily into our system. So to be honest with you, we never had like specific conversation that, hey, you gotta be more efficient in those areas than the areas comparing to New York. That was never part of a conversation. It was always playing to the standard that we want to play and to play to the identity of our team. RJ did an outstanding job this summer. I have to acknowledge the way he played and represented the national team of Canada. I'm very proud of him. He was the player that played with a lot of passion and love, and you could see the way he owned it playing for Canada national team. But at the same time, I know how much pride he takes into representing Toronto Raptors as well. So all of that experience he had this summer and all the work that he put in this summer, I think it's going to set him up for even more success and hopefully less discussions about his efficiency.
Thank you. Go ahead, S.
Darko, how you doing? Svendio Berahini, Forbes Sports. Last year, you came in with a goal that you wanted every night, 25 plus assists. And you guys did it for the most part. I think there were only 18 games where you guys didn't get to that mark. We're talking about a lot of defense right now. Is there a numerical goal for the defensive end this year?
Generally, we need to see a lot of improvement. We're going to have our offensive pillars. We're going to have our defensive pillars. And all the defensive pillars that I'm going to present to our team, they're not something that happens overnight. We'll need to build our habits. We'll need to build our identity. And we're going to stick with those. We might make some adjustments and changes in what it needs to look like. But in general, like what I said, how the way we protect the rim, ball pressure, defensive rebounding, all that kind of stuff, we need to see improvement in those areas. So we spent quite a bit of time this summer coming up with schemes, working individually with players, and now it's time tomorrow to start with a training camp to start implementing all of those things.
Thank you. And last question is going to go to Matt. Go ahead, Matt.
Matt Bonner, Sportsnet and public transit enthusiast. What is the first team drill you're going to do at training camp, the first practice, and why?
Great to see you, Matt. We're going to do this Matt Bonner challenge. When the player starts on the block, starts with a layup, and he needs to bank a shot, and he goes around all the way to the three-point line and got to come back. Do you like that one for the start of training camp? There you go. First drill of a training camp. I'm going to surprise. I want to surprise my players, but one-on-one, I'll tell you, you're going to like it.
Great. Thanks very much, Coach. Scottie is on his
Thank
way.
you.
Darko.
I'm too old. Too old to stand. Okay, so we're going to get going with Scottie in a second. Just FYI, I'm having a bit of a hard time sometimes hearing questions, so I may ask you to repeat just because Scottie may be having the same issue. I just want to make sure that we're clear on that. So stand by. Thanks, everybody. Phil found me a chair. I feel super happy about that. So we're going to go ahead with questions for Scottie. So again, just raise your hand. We'll get the mic to you. Rachel. So we're going to start with Rachel.
Hi, Scottie.
Hello.
I wonder what some of the highlights of your summer were,
and where do you think you've improved most year over year, like from this time last year to now?
Say what I improved most. I would just say probably this whole summer I've just been working on my communication skills. Just trying to step into that next role of, growing into that leader. You got to just take steps, and, I feel like I've been taking the right steps this summer and getting that way. Just communicating and talking with the guys more. So just taking those steps.
Thank you. I'm going to go to John, who's down here on your right. Remember, raise your hand. We'll get the mic to you guys.
Hey, Scottie. John Chidley-Hill with the Canadian Press. Welcome back. Masai was just here an hour ago, and he called this a rebuilding year, but obviously you're a competitor and you want to win. As this team's leader, how do you balance, the need to develop a young core, but also, obviously, you want to win as much as possible?
Just taking the time. Don't get frustrated throughout the season, throughout the ups and downs. Of course, we want to win, and we know we can win. But of course, it just takes time. So just don't get frustrated throughout that process, and just keep trying to focus on our main goal, just trying to get better, and focus on that picture. That's where it all is going to start for us, and then taking those baby steps and trying to get into those playoffs, game by game.
Thanks, Scottie. I'm going to go to Samson.
Hey, Scottie, I hope your summer was good. Samson Folk, Raptors Republic. Darko, we were talking a little bit about the X's and O's of defense, having the back line of the defense coming higher, providing more ball pressure, earlier pickup points. In your conversations about what you want that to look like, being a huge part of the defense, is your position or role as a backline sweeper kind of what allowed for them to think about a more aggressive scheme to work on defense?
I don't know, but I just know those things that you talked about, that's our forefront of our defense, that ball pressure, trying to just make people play faster, try to create more steals. And then, we got some guys that can block shots, so just trying to protect our paint better than what we're used to doing. Once we get that done, then, I feel like everything else will be going for us. But me, as being in the back end, trying to block shots, guarding the ball, guarding the best players, I feel like that's what we're going to do with me.
Thank you.
Depends on schemes and situations.
Thanks, Scottie. To S.
Hey, Scottie. S. Barrett for Forbes. I'm wondering, you said, communication was something that you worked on this summer a lot, communicating with your teammates. Was there anything specific that you were kind of trying to get them to learn about you or maybe communicate on as you were working on it this summer?
Not really any specifics. It's just about just trying to bring these guys together. We didn't have a full season on our belt. We got a lot of new faces, a lot of new people. So it all started this summer, just building this chemistry with our team and just trying to grow from there. Everything started this summer of how we want to be and what we need to work on, what we need to focus on, and trying to get everybody on the same page. That was the main thing.
So we're going to go Grange, Nelson, and then Savannah, and we'll see where we're at.
Hey, Scottie. Michael Grange from Sportsnet. I just wonder if there's any specific things in your skill set that you prioritized over the summer, in addition to, obviously, your communication and things like that, but just little elements of your game that we might notice sooner than later.
For sure, I would say most thing I've been working on, just working on my shot creation, just getting off the dribble, working in different sets that we have. Just working on being able to get to the basket and get into my spots more efficiently, where I can be able to create for others and create for myself.
Have you set any specific goals for yourself in terms of what the productivity might look like, or is that just going to let it unfold?
I'm going to let it unfold, but everything, just starts off with winning. We win, and everything else just comes into place. All those other goals and, things that it's great to have, being all-star, being an all-NBA. We win first, and then all those other things come into play.
Okay, so we're going to Nelson and then Sa.
Scottie,
right here at the back, Nelson Perez, Hispanic Source Media. Talking about this new role of a leader, have you feel like you've always been a natural leader? And what have you found in terms of being a vocal leader or being a leader by example? Like, what have you found in terms of differences in that role?
I would say, I'm usually accustomed to being just that leader by example. You see I go out there, play hard, showing a lot of effort. Once the game gets going, you see different things throughout the game. You talk to your teammates, you're communicating. It's not really something that's super hard. It just comes natural to a lot of people. Some people are different from others. But me, once the game gets going, your whole mindset just changes. You do scouting, you do game plan, and then your mind just gets going and trying to just figure out ways to win. Once the game gets going, the ball gets tossed up, I'm trying to win. And you adjust within the game what the team's doing. So it's just about being able to get that game plan and communicating to your teammates within those moments of what you see out there, what you find out there, and then, talking to these guys off the court, just build that bond and that relationship with them is just one of my main goals this summer.
Thank you. I'm just trying to spread the questions around in case you guys are wondering what's going on. So going to Savannah and then to Eric.
Hey, Scottie, hope you had a great summer. Masai talked about the fact that you were showing a lot of leadership traits in the off-season training with the guys and everything. Is there anybody that you're kind of modeling your leadership after? And have you reached out to any players in the league, past or present, in terms of what leadership looks like to you?
Nah, not really modeling my leadership after anybody, Like I said, I feel like I'm just being myself. Of course, you can see things, I see a lot of leadership in Garrett Temple, just the way he carries himself, the way he talks, the way he communicates, the way he tells us throughout the season different things. And, you see that, he's a vet that been in this league a long time, and just seeing how his impact on our team is just so important. So that's one of the guys I look up to and just take notes and try to assert myself in some of the ways that he asserts himself.
Thank you.
Hey, Scottie, Eric Smith from Sportsnet. Darko was talking earlier about the 30th anniversary season. And as you guys are entering into it, I just wonder what your impressions are of your place and your emerging place and continued place in the history of this team, and what that means to you going into such an important season for the organization, let alone for you and the team overall.
Repeat that one more time.
I'm wondering about your opinion of yourself as an emerging piece of the history of this team, and what that means to you going into such an important 30th anniversary, and your role in the history of this organization.
Just continue to try to make history any way possible. Make a stamp. I'm just trying to go out there and have the fans enjoy what we're doing here. I feel like that's the most important thing. Fans are so important for what we do. Let's try to go out there and make it fun for them to watch, make it entertaining, and just create more legacy, more history.
Super. Thank you. We're going to go to Josh down front, then to Chelsea, and then this man at the back who I'm sorry, I don't know.
Hey, Scottie, Josh Lewinberg, TSN. At this time last year, there was a lot of uncertainty in regards to what the roster was going to look like. This year, it seems like as an organization, there's a clear path, clear direction going into the season. You're in a clear role, and obviously you got your contract situation settled as well. Do things seem for you more settled going into this season, and do you think that's going to be beneficial for you in terms of the type of year you're going to have?
To be honest, last year, during this time, I don't know what everybody else is thinking. I felt like everything was settled last year. But it's got to go through it how it is. I feel like we're in a very comfortable space, and we're all really tight. We're really connected, and this team could take that next step.
Thank you. Chelsea, and then the one last question at the back. So go ahead, Chelsea.
Chelsea Lates, Raptors HQ. Scottie, you were seen kind of getting some reps here in Toronto with kind of local players and in the community. What benefits does kind of being here in the summer, but also playing with different people around the city have on what you bring to not only the team locker room, but also on the court?
This was super important. That was super important for me. You know, I love playing basketball. I love just playing hoops, man. So to be able to just have a consistent basis of playing and just trying to get better, learn other players, building connections, you know, that was just super fun. You know, Chris was with me throughout that whole time. We were just continuing to go up and down the court, just playing. We're just doing what we love. So, you know, that was super fun. And then just being in the city while being here, it was great.
Thank you. And the last question at the very back.
Scottie, Champ Lunas from ABS-CBN. You've won Rookie of the Year. You were part of the All-Star team last year. Is there any certain personal goals for yourself coming this year? Defensive Player of the Year, All-NBA first team, second team, third team?
Like I said earlier, you know, it all starts with winning. That's the most important thing. And then everything else just falls into place. Those things would be great, but it all starts with winning first.
Great. Thanks very much, everyone. Thank you, Scottie. Transcription break. So as a reminder, Immanuel will be up at 11. I know, I feel like I'm ready for my acoustic set right now. Immanuel is over there, so he might be about 5 minutes early, so don't wander too far. Early. eyes it was him. I just call him as I see him. You guys ready back there? Oh, where are my mic passers? Andy, always in with the save. Thank you so much. Didn't you enjoy that dramatic entrance coming in that way?
Yeah, that was a little bit more dramatic.
It was a bit more
I
dramatic.
like that.
Just walking through. Okay, we're going to get started. Thank you. Where's the first question for IQ? Go to Doug and then Chitters. Go to S.
Hey, Emmanuel Doug Smith, Toronto Star. How are you?
Good. How you doing today?
I'm good, thank you. You spent a lot of time this summer with Darko,
Mhm.
Africa, Spain, Miami. What do you, your sense of him now, spending that time with him as a coach and as a person?
I think just already understanding that he was like a big players coach. Just really understanding that you can come to him about more than just basketball. We talk a lot about family, mindset, things like that. I was just talking to him about different books that we've been reading, different things that we've been watching. So a lot bigger than basketball, but then on the basketball side, very smart, very organized, tremendous work ethic. So a lot of different stuff that I've been able to pick up from him and learn that I've been with him. The Dynamite Daily, I think it was called Daily Dad, and then also Daily Dominate or Dynamite was one of the books. And he was just telling me about the mindset that you have to have every day that you come into work and things like that.
Motivational stuff as opposed to fiction.
Yeah, I'm not a big fiction reader at all, so.
Hey, IQ. John Shipley Hill with the Canadian Press. We've heard from Masai and Darko today about how this is going to be a rebuilding year, but obviously, you know, you're a competitor. You want to win. How do you balance that as one of the key parts of this young core?
Well, I don't think there's any balance. I think you come into every game and to prepare to try to win. Will we be young? Will we be learning a lot still? Yeah. Are we probably maybe not as talented as other teams, maybe, but that's no excuse to not play hard each and every night. No excuse to not give 110%, and no excuse not to be prepared against whoever you go against. So obviously there's building blocks and steps that you have to take to reach where you want to be, but there's no excuse to not come out and try to win every night.
We're going to go over to S and then down to Grange, but Annie is waving at me with something to do with I'm good? Okay, go ahead. So S.
IQ, right here.
Grange.
S. Barahini for Forbes, right here. On your left, my bad.
Got you.
First of all, obviously you traveled a lot this summer. Traveling gives people perspective. I'm wondering if you added a certain level of perspective as you've traveled all over the world. And second part is more about you and Scottie together as a duo. Really scratched the surface last season in terms of the connections you guys made in the pick and roll, handoffs, whatnot. Wondering, is that more of an in-game process, building that chemistry, or is that through camp and maybe practices?
Yeah, so the first question, really just, I was overseas for like maybe a month and like 15 days, so I've picked up a lot of things, a lot of new things that I can take with me. Tried to learn a little bit of Spanish while I was in Spain. The culture in Africa is totally different, and just having a sense of being grateful for everything that we have. A lot of people don't have like the things that we have, whether it's maybe access to clean water or food or things like that, or just having the ability to wake up and do a job that I love. That's something that I don't take for granted, don't take lightly, and I'm blessed. So, and then the question about Scottie, me and Scottie have been able to do a lot of things on the court together. As soon as basically we took maybe like 2 weeks off, and then we got right back to it. And the coaches had us working a lot together, shooting together, and he kicked me off his 2K Pro-Am team, so y'all can ask him about that later. But nah, me and Scottie have a great relationship. We was texting last night about the Ravens game. I know he's a big Ravens fan. I'm from Maryland as well. So, but just, it doesn't happen overnight. You got to continue to just chop wood and carry water about it, and just continue to find ways to get better, come in every day with a mindset to learn, and I do that with him.
So we're going to Michael Grange down front.
Quick, Michael Grange from Sportsnet. Welcome back. People, it's very common for people to say when they sign a big deal, a contract doesn't change them. money doesn't change them. But obviously, having that kind of commitment for a franchise, now that you've had some time to settle it in, did it have any impact on your outlook or your as you approached this coming season or your off season?
Yeah, I think it's definitely a big deal in the fact that like me and the franchise in a sense are on the same page, and they believe in me, and I believe obviously in myself and what I can do. But as far as who I am, I don't think it changes me at all. You could ask my agent. I never really asked him once about what's going on with my contract. What are they talking about? Really, I really just was working the whole time just to try to get better. Everything ends up taking care of itself. God always has a plan, and if you put all the work in, and you kind of just put yourself behind the 8 ball and listen to what he's telling you to do, he'll lead you in the right direction. So didn't change really who I was.
So we're going to go Andrew over here, then Katie, and then Sean.
Hi, Manuel. Andrew Damlin with CHCH News. They say media day is kind of like the first day of school. Did you like the first day of school heading into it as a kid?
You want the good answer, or you want?
I want the good answer, naturally.
First day of school, fun. Always see your friends. See what classes you got, the teachers you like, don't like. But it's my 5th year, so I've kind of seen, I'm sure all the rookies are like, oh my goodness, it's so crazy, it's so fun. But, I'm just excited to hoop, so.
Thank you. Over to Sean, who is to your left there.
Yeah, IQ, Sean Woodley, Locked On Raptors. Last year, you kind of got to learn the ropes as the lead guard after the trade, especially down the stretch with those Scottie and Yak. I'm wondering, what did you learn in that stretch that kind of informed your off-season work, and how are you feeling coming into this season for a full season of those lead guard duties?
Just being able to go back and actually watch it, and being able to learn from trial and error, experience, seeing where those guys like the ball, how I can help them. Even taking time with Yak after practice to like pick and roll and things like that. And just taking time, making the effort to try to, perfect it in a way. Like I said, it's not gonna come easy. You gotta, hit the hammer every single day that you come in, and I think we've done that.
Thank you. So we're gonna go Katie, Eric, Lewis, Aaron.
Thank you. Katie Heindel, SB Nation. Masai touched on how impressed he was with the work that he was seeing you put in over the summer in various locations that you've mentioned. I just wondered how important momentum is to you in building that up going into a season.
I think momentum can be important, but I just look at it as like putting money in your bank so that you can take it out, when you need it. And to be honest, for me, I don't skip steps. In the summer, I take my work very seriously. I get up early, get my day started early, and I just take my work, seriously. I try to perfect my craft each and every day that I get a chance to, and I enjoy it. So I don't really look at it as like work, quote unquote. I just look at it as something that I love to do, and I don't take it for granted. And I appreciate God for my gift.
Thank you. Eric Green down here.
Hey, IQ, Eric Green, The Athletic. I want the real answer about the first day of school.
My mom's a teacher, so I love school.
Who's the, whether it was with the Knicks or anybody, who's been the most impactful leader for you as a younger player or at any different level?
That's a great question. Most impactful leader. I've been fortunate enough to have a lot of great leaders, great teammates. Derrick Rose just retired. He was on my team my rookie year, and to have a MVP, the youngest MVP ever on your team as a rookie, plays the same position as you, be able to ask him questions, is something that I hold true and dear to me. He was a great teammate. I've had a lot of great teammates. I don't want to start rambling off and miss some guys, but I had a lot of great guys, a lot of great coaches. So I'm really grateful for all of them.
Thank you. So it's Lewis and then Aaron.
Hey, IQ. Lewis Atzman, Raptors Public. Last year, the team defense wasn't, where anyone wanted it to be.
If it were to improve this year and look a lot better, what would your role be in that improved defense?
Yeah, we didn't defend as well as we wanted to, and I think the coaches have hit on that. That's probably been one of the biggest things that we've hit on this summer. And one, it just starts with playing hard as a team, and then for me, most of the times being on the point of attack, being in the pick and roll, just getting reps and learning how to technique, and then obviously, like I said, the effort. Pick and roll, isolations, guarding those, and just trying to get better every day. But defense has definitely been a big emphasis on what we're doing.
Thank you. Aaron, here on
Hey,
the
quickly,
list.
Aaron Rose, SI.com. The Raptors talked about the emphasis of point of attack defense. How is that something that you've been focusing on over the offseason, and how do you hope to improve that this year?
I think one, it starts with being in great shape, because obviously I have to, handle the ball a lot and make plays on offense, but just being able to do both, which is, not easy, but the best players in the league do that. So being able to be in great shape that I can do both, and, learning from other great players that, play defense. The same way you can learn on offense, isolations, pick and roll, moves, you can, learn different things on defense. And then I think the last thing is just experience. You got to be able to go out there and do it and get game reps in. And I feel like I've made strides as a defender. My whole career, when I came in, I was just coming in, shooting threes and floaters, and that's pretty much all anybody knew me for was scoring. So just trying to, continue to, get better not only offense, but get better on defense as well.
Thank you. So it was Samson, Chelsea, Joe, and then we're going to end.
Hey, IQ, just over here. You mentioned working with Jakob in the pick and roll. He scored predominantly most of his points after a pocket pass. When, especially for a shooter as good as you, the hang dribble and the decision of time between getting into like a step back, the pull up, hitting that pocket pass, are you excited about the prospect of working that aspect of your game along with him? And how has that gone between you two and the extra work you've been putting in?
I think I am very excited to answer your question. Just to be able to, make decisions and play big minutes and try to help this team win, help the younger guys. I say younger guys like I'm 30 years old, but help the young guys. Me and Yak, just texting a little bit. He's a very smart basketball player. I don't know if a lot of players know that, but just the intelligence he has, especially when you talk to him, you can understand that he's a very smart player. And just really trying to pick his brain, see where he likes the ball. Obviously, a lot of his scoring is off pocket passes, and he has a great touch around the rim. Just trying to understand where my teammates like the ball and where I can, help them be successful. But yeah.
Thank you. Chelsea, and then Joe, and then we'll wrap.
Chelsea Lake, Raptors HQ over here. Obviously, coming into a team mid-season via trade versus coming in during the off-season is a little different. Now that you've kind of had like an off-season with this team, you've kind of traveled, done some team building, maybe spent a little bit more time here in Toronto. Has your maybe like mindset changed a little bit, and do you find like you have a deeper sense of connection both to the city, to the team, and what's it like now versus like when you first landed here after the trade?
I'd probably say the connection to the city and my teammates has probably changed a lot, but my mindset, I don't think changes at all. Like I said earlier, I just come in with the same mindset, whether the money or, the wins. My mindset is all about how can I get better today and how can I be better tomorrow than I was the day before. That's really all you can control. You really can't control anything else. And like I said earlier, everything ends up working out the way God wants it to. So really just, when I first got traded, I was like, you always probably in question about new decisions in life and new things that happen. But, this has probably been one of the best things that's happened to me. And, I'm looking forward to taking full advantage of it.
Thank you. Last question is going to go to Joe, who's on your left there.
Joe Wolf on with the score. Obviously, you have this floater that's a big part of your offensive game. Early on in your Raptors tenure, Darko said that an important next step in your development would be getting all the way to the rim more, playing through contact a little bit more. And sure enough, after the All-Star break, your rim frequency actually went up quite a bit. I'm wondering if that is still a priority for you, pushing more in that direction, and how does a change like that come about? In terms of the way you're attacking with the ball?
I think it comes with mindset and also just continuous work. Getting in the lane, being able to play off 2 feet, and then a whole off season of getting stronger, being in great shape. Just all those little things are going to have a pivotal point, I think, in helping me have a great season, and also being better at the rim, because that's one thing I can, want to continue to be better at. Obviously, I can shoot the ball and shoot the floater, shoot the mid-range, and score at all 3 levels, the free throw line, and just continue to get at the rim so that the defense can collapse and I can, find my teammates. So getting to the rim is definitely a big part.
Great. Thanks very much, Emmanuel.
Thanks.
Thank you,
Appreciate y'all. Y'all have a great day.
Everyone, hold where you are. Don't go too far. So everyone, with the sad news of the passing of Dikembe Mutombo, we thought it would be appropriate to bring Masai back to share some thoughts on this great global ambassador for our game, and he'll take a question or two on that, but I'm going to bring Masai back out, okay?
Just heard the news about I don't know why I'm doing this. But I just heard the news about Dikembe Mutombo, and it's really hard to believe, and yeah, it's hard for us to be with that guy, without that guy. You have no idea what Dikembe Mutombo meant to me. Wow. I hate to yeah, it's a tough one. I'm sorry, it's a tough one. I have to say though, that guy, he made us. He made us who we are. That guy is a giant, an incredible person. Yeah, who are we without Dikembe Mutombo? Not possible. It really is not. I went to Dikembe Mutombo's hometown with him. I went to his hospital. You have no idea what that guy means to the world. I mean, he's gone. He left us. To Mutombo's family, to Mama Rose, to his kids, there's no words. That guy was the biggest giant that you can ever find, the biggest heart. I know he'll rest well, and his family will be fine. He did so much for us, for the continent of Africa, for his people. I went to Dikembe Mutombo's hospital, and in Dikembe Mutombo's hospital in Kinshasa, you go to that hospital and it doesn't even smell like a hospital. You don't understand that I grew up in hospitals. I grew up in hospitals. That's how much pride this guy had. That's how much pride he had in doing good for his people. I built a court with him in Bujumbura, in his village, and spent a lot of time with him there. And what he's brought to youth on the continent, to people on the continent, we cannot even imagine. You cannot even imagine what that guy has done for me in my career. Yeah. He took me by the wings in Denver, and made me grow as a person. And now he's gone. He's left us. I treated my family, my kids. I remember in my house. Yeah. But everybody, there's nobody that Mutombo did not touch. Nobody. Everything you see as big as he is, his heart was bigger. Yeah, today is not a good day. Not a good day for sports, for us. For us in Africa, it's not a good day at all. But we'll celebrate him, and we'll celebrate him big. Because he set a path for us that, I don't know many people that can do it. I'm proud that I knew Dikembe Mutombo. I'm proud that I worked with him. I'm proud that he mentored me. I'm proud that I did a lot of work with him. Traveled around the continent of Africa. This one hits home. don't mean to dampen the day, but this one really hits home. Question? Yeah, tell me.
I'm sure for everybody here, our condolences. I'm wondering, when you look at your passion for using basketball to develop in Africa, and how much was he a role model for that? Maybe a story of he shared, or that you can share, about how you took those steps and made it so fundamental to you based on his example.
You know, I remember I was traveling, and I saw Mutombo on the in Atlanta on the plane, and I had just been promoted to director of scouting, and I was wearing sweats to travel, and he looked at me and he said, "Didn't you just get promoted? Why are you wearing sweats to travel? Yeah, go dress up." I remember we were going to meet Nelson Mandela in South Africa, and we came down, and a couple players came down, and he asked them where they were going. They were wearing sweats too. And he said, "Where are you going?" He said, "We're going to meet Mandela. They had chosen 7 of us to go meet with Nelson Mandela." And Dikembe said, "Well, go back upstairs and dress like you're going to meet Nelson Mandela." And that's what Dikembe meant to us. Everywhere, we've been all around the continent, the way he affected the youth, and he's always himself. Me and Adam Silver always talk about how accessible and how easy it was to be around Dikembe and to travel with Dikembe Mutombo. I did Basketball Without Borders for 20 years with Dikembe Mutombo, every year, every single year, with Amadou Fall and Dikembe Mutombo. You can't imagine going to Dikembe Mutombo's village with him and the hero that he is in Kinshasa, but the hero he is in Africa. That guy he's bigger than life, telling you, bigger. As big as his big shoes were, as big as his hands were, he was bigger as a person, and his heart was bigger. You have to, one day, if you are anywhere near there, you have to go to Dikembe Mutombo's hospital that he built. It's something with pride, that somebody spent his own money, raised money to do something like that on the continent, to take care of people. You cannot, he always had time for every child, every person, everybody that came to speak to him, traveled with him in airports, his big legs hanging high. There's nobody like Dikembe Mutombo. Nobody like him.
Hey, Masai, Patrick Bizindal from Radio Shock FM. Dikembe was one of the pioneers from Africa. Now we have a number of African players in the NBA. What can those players learn from Mutombo as his legacy?
Well, the work he did on the continent, but the work he did in the NBA too. He was a star, and he took care of his profession. He was very serious about his profession. And I can't believe I'm talking about Dikembe and he's not here. How many times have you guys seen Dikembe Mutombo in Toronto here? Many times he's come, not only to support me, to support the team. I think the last time we were in Montreal, Dikembe Mutombo was there. To support Pascal, all these players. What that guy meant to us, the pace he set, what Dikembe Mutombo, Akim Olajuwon, Mutombo did for us on the continent is something you cannot imagine. Yeah. Nobody did it like those three in setting the pace for us. Now both of them are, Mutombo and Dikembe Mutombo are gone. We remember them with great pride. We talk about Dikembe Mutombo with great pride. There's nobody like that guy. Nobody, trust me. Thank you.
We are going to take about 10 minutes here. Yep, we're ready. RJ Barrett is coming up, everyone.
Hello, everybody.
Questions for RJ? We're going to start there with Scott, who got his hand up first. Grange coming in on Grange Standard Time. Go ahead, Scott.
Hey, RJ, how's it going?
It's going good.
I was just curious, as a guy who grew up watching basketball in this city, I just wanted to get your thoughts on the fact that the Raptors are going to retire Vince Carter's jersey.
I mean, had to have seen that coming at some point. You know, just a legend. What he's done for the game, just for multiple generations, you know, that came after, has been amazing. His impact is huge. You know, everybody that really, you know, plays basketball in this country knows who Vince Carter is. So what he's done for the game is huge, and, you know, we're just happy to be able to honor just the huge impact he left here, and just, you know, obviously the amazing athleticism and the dunks and everything else.
RJ, this may be the shortest media availability we have all day. Go to Aaron, and then Josh, and then Doug.
Hey, RJ, Aaron Rose, SI.com. Welcome back. What did you learn over the summer and from your experience with the Canadian team that you're hoping to take into this season?
Just nothing too crazy. I didn't really do anything different. Just, you know, playing together, playing as a team. Just whether it's defense, offense, doesn't really matter. Just playing together, playing as a team, and, you know, listening to coach what he wants us to do. I think if we just play hard every night, you know, we'll have success.
Yes, and hey, RJ. In terms of the prep required to ramp yourself up for the Olympics, I mean, I know you're used to playing international basketball, but obviously this was higher level, higher competition at the Olympics. Does that help you going into the season, just in terms of being, I don't want to say in shape, because you always come in shape, but does it change your prep at all going into the season?
Absolutely. I mean, first it's shorter rest time, you know, so that's I guess that's the annoying part of it, but the good part of it is that, you know, I kind of just stay in shape, you know, kind of basically the whole year round. I'm, you know, basically always in shape, so that's good. And I think just playing in the summer helps coming into the beginning of the year, because I'm constantly in rhythm. I'm always in rhythm. So I've just been, you know, I played a lot this summer, and then, yeah, that's it.
So I have Doug, then John, and then Grange, and then Ian, and I feel like I'm missing somebody. They already had their hand up. Chelsea, and then Steve.
Hey, RJ, it's Doug. How are you? You're up to your right.
What's up?
Not much, man. How important, or why was it important for you to go to Spain so quickly after the Olympics? And what did your already good relationship with Darko grow over the time you spent in the summer?
It was interesting. I actually, honestly, right after we lost, I was on the bus on the way back to the hotel, and I called Gemma right away, actually. So we got it figured out, you know, pretty quickly. And just, this is the Raptors, man. This is my team, this is my home. Like, I wanted to be there with my teammates. You know, we have a lot of new faces, a lot of rookies coming in. And, you know, I was new to the team. I was only been here for half the year, so just continuing to try to build the relationships with the people here, continue to learn the system, and just, like I said, what Coach wants us to do, so that, you know, I could be better. Also, the guys could see me, hear my voice, my leadership, and just, you know, I wanted to show that, you know, if I can, like, have just played in the Olympics and still showed up, and, you know, and be there with the guys, like, you know, just trying to show that I'm here and I'm all in.
John.
Hey, RJ. John Chidley-Hill with the Canadian Press. You touched on this a little bit, but this is, like, obviously you're here with the team at the start of the season rather than being traded mid-season. How much does that help you in terms of your preparation, knowing the playbook, knowing your teammates, all that stuff?
Yeah, it's it's huge. Just being able to start out here is a lot. It's a lot different, than kind of coming in midway. Like midway, that's me. Midway, I was playing without really knowing any of the plays. I got there like I think I played like 2 days after I got traded or something like that. So. Just learning everything on the fly was fun, but now to be here to, like I said, be locked in and from the jump is something that, something I like. It's more comfortable just for me and kind of for everybody. We're able to know what we're doing and the direction we're going from the start.
Thank you. Michael Grange, just right here on your left.
RJ, yeah, Michael Grange from Sportsnet. A lot of times in the summer, you put a lot of work on individual stuff with Drew, etc. Did that take a little step back this year because you were doing more stuff and with the Raptors as a group? For sure. I didn't, get to work out with Drew as much as I wanted to, but he would always send me stuff. We're always in constant communication, so it's good. He watched the games, he was giving me pointers. He was actually there in France. So it was, always just continuing to make sure that I'm working on what I need to work on, getting better. Even though I did play, just in my workouts, before and after, make sure that I'm continuously adding to my game, sharpening my tools.
We're going to Ian here.
RJ, hey, Ian Harrison with Associated Press. Just back to Vince for a second. You spoke about the awareness that he created across Canada. I wonder, what about the influence? Do you think that his influence on basketball in this country kind of led to, say, even the medal of the worlds, the Olympic berth, and so on, the number of players getting drafted? How did he impact that side of the game?
He impacted it a lot. Like, I know like guys like KO would go to Vince Carter camps. You know what I mean? Like that's huge for young kids growing up and wanting to play basketball, aspiring to, go to the NBA. I think VC is really one of the first people that kind of, like in Canada, people thought that they're going to be able to go to the NBA, just from watching him and watching the Raptors. And you kind of see it just go from like Kelly and Tristan and Corey and those guys to all the way down to, Benedict Mathurin and Andrew Nembhard and just Shaedon Sharpe and just where basketball is now. Like, it really started with Vince.
Thank you. We're going to go to Chelsea now. Down your left.
Yeah, Chelsea Lee, Raptors HQ. Can you speak a little bit to your experience at the Olympics in Paris, kind of off the court, in the village with your teammates, and maybe how that experience, what you're taking from that experience into the season, and if there was anything about it that maybe you didn't expect or...
One, hanging out with those guys is like one of the most fun things ever, just playing cards all the time. That's really what kind of I feel like meant the most was one, representing, your country, but also just like being around the guys. We've all kind of known each other for a long time. And like there's no like money involved and everything in it. It's just, it's just straight fun. And I think being in the village was crazy just because like when we're with our teams normally during the year, you kind of like just see people at the arena, like at the games, unless you have your own friendships and you know them, then, but you normally just see people at the game. Whereas like in the village, like we're eating breakfast next to Jokic and like we're eating dinner and Giannis just walks in, like, so it was like it was different. It was crazy to kind of see guys that you wouldn't normally see just like in a different setting. So I think that was a fun part.
So we're going to go to Steve Simmons at the very back, then over to S, then back to Patrick, and then we'll have room for one more.
RJ, Steve Simmons, Toronto Sun. I've talked to a lot of athletes over the years who have gone to an Olympics and have had either success or failure, and it's something they carry with them often for the rest of their lives.
Mm-hmm.
Emotionally, when it ended so disappointingly in Paris, how do you feel now, and how do you think you'll feel in years to come?
Well, one, I feel very proud is the first thing. Something that hasn't done 24 years. To be a part of that, I'm grateful for the country that, I love so much. I'm very proud and very thankful to have had that honor. You know, the feeling of losing sucks. No one wants to lose, especially, you know, when you feel like you could have won for sure. Then you had a good chance. So that, you know, that feeling hurts. It doesn't go away. But I like to look on the bright side of we've come so far and we only have room to grow, as well as just the feeling, you know, of going and playing, and we're playing in the soccer arena, soccer stadium, and it was like 30,000 people in there. Like that's insane. You know, that's a basketball memory that I'll, you know, have forever. Like going out, playing for your country, 30,000 people watching in the stands, and just everybody back at home supporting. Like, you know, that's something, you know, I'll never take for granted.
Thank you. So we're gonna go to S. Patrick, is your question in French? Okay, so I'm gonna go S, Tony, Patrick. Thanks.
I knew you was gonna sneak that in there.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's how we roll.
RJ right over here, S. Barahini, Forbes Sports. Obviously, you said that it was a bit of an adjustment when you came in mid-season last year, learning the plays and figuring things out, but you put up career numbers across the board.
Yeah.
I'm wondering, looking into this season, that fresh start, you also said you wanted to work on your defense heading out in the summer. Is that a point of emphasis for you to figure out the defensive side now, or is it just more of an all-around thing that you want to get better at?
All around, both, for sure. I think offense, defense, and I think just talking more, using my voice more, helping the other guys on the team, because now that I'm getting, you know, a little adjusted, I can, you know, help other people as well. But yeah, defense is a big part of it for me. Just a new defensive system, learning and just applying it and being more of a two-way player, you know. Yeah, as well as like when I came here, and you know, Scottie was huge in helping getting me adjusted, just because he's so vocal. You know, he cares about winning. And then, you know, being able to come here with Quick too, we're able to kind of figure things out together, and just a lot of conversations with Darko, you know, a lot of film. So yeah, the adjustment wasn't too hard, but I think the adjustment was more so, you know, leaving, coming to Toronto, playing a game in Toronto, and going on a 2-week road trip. I don't have any clothes. Like, I think that was more so the adjustment.
Thank you. So we'll go to Tony for his question. Go ahead.
Hi, RJ. Yeah, players highlight a lot how Darko communicate with the players. My question is, as far as you can tell, do you remember any special moment last season, like in the locker room, in a game, or this summer, with Darko that reflects his personality?
Mm-hmm. First one is a funny one. I have a couple, actually. Okay, first one was a funny one. We're in film, and like, you know, Darko always says good morning to everybody, daps everybody up in the morning. And you know, as a rookie coming into the NBA, you get the hazing, you got to get made fun of all the time. So we come in, and Gradey likes to do this thing where he doesn't get a haircut for a while. So Darko comes in, is like, Gradey, like he's like, RJ, like, can you like get Gradey a barber or something? You're from here, right? Like, get him a barber. Like, he needs a haircut bad. Because I mean, Gradey be looking crazy sometimes. You know, that's my guy. So that he be getting on him, you know, getting on the rook. Another funny one was mid-game. Quick and I, like, Quick's my brother, and like we're really competitive, and sometimes like it's something basketball, like you miss somebody, you know, like that happens every game. And I think Quick missed me, and then I missed him, something like, and we're both on the bench sitting beside each other. Darko comes over, and we're thinking like it's about to be like, you know, something crazy or something real serious. He's like, do you like him? I'm like, yeah. He's like, do you like him? I'm like, yeah. Like, that's my boy. He's like, so pass each other the ball. Like, yeah, man, just fun stuff like that. And then he's just such a caring guy. Like, You know, I was dealing with stuff with my brother, and he always like made sure to check on me every day, he text me all the time, and you know, every morning when I came in, like he'd check on me. So yeah, a lot of love for Darko.
Thank you. Thanks, Tony. Last question to Patrick, who is at the back on your right.
Patrick Bizindali, Radio Choc FM. RJ, comme joueur canadien de Toronto, que signifie pour toi les 30 ans des Toronto Raptors et la célébration de Vince Carter cette saison?
C'est beaucoup pour moi parce que 30 ans et moi, je vivais là quand j'étais petit. Je regardais comme tous les matchs quand j'avais comme 8 ans, 9 ans. Alors, j'aime les Raptors beaucoup. Alors, c'est vraiment important pour moi et je suis très content d'être ici et très content pour être ici pour le 30e anniversaire. Ouais.
Thank you. Thanks, RJ.
Yeah.
Thanks, everyone. We're going to have a very quick fire alarm test. So if you guys hear that going off, that's what it is. No need to evacuate. Everyone's fine. Jakob is here, so if everybody wants to get back into question formation, we can. Oh, look, he's coming right down the middle. Okay, I think that's great. Hello. Apparently, it's the quietest fire alarm in the world, Aaron. It went off on the other side, so that's where they were testing. It's fine. Trust me, it's fine.
Nice.
Okay, Yak looks like he's ready. Any questions for Jakob Poeltl, please? Raise your hand. Samson and Lewis we'll start with, and then we'll go to Grange, and then we'll go to Eric.
Hey, Yak. Samson Folk, Raptors Republic. I hope your summer was good.
Yeah.
You ready to talk a little bit about defense?
Sure.
Okay, so Darko was talking about higher pickup points and also being more aggressive overall. You obviously are more of a rim protector than like a ball pressure guy up top. But as far as how you support the guards and wings who play that, how do you see yourself fitting into a more aggressive scheme this year?
I mean, it's kind of like you said. I don't think it applies to me in a lot of situations. I mean, there's going to be some when like a big catches it out on the three-point line, like a 5-out set, where us as bigs are going to be more aggressive as well. But for the most part, I think we're just trying to be as disruptive as possible. Maybe sometimes it's going to lead to more like drives and situations like that where we got to be on top of our rotations, but I think we're ready for it.
Just a quick thing. What does disruption look like for somebody who operates at the back end of the defense?
I mean, like I said, it doesn't apply to me as much as it does to like our perimeter defenders. I mean, there are going to be situations where like we just don't want whoever is handling the ball like to be comfortable, like to be able to go to their go-to move, whatever that might be in the situation. Like, it might be just getting a shot up or whatever. Like, just making them go to their second or third option is going to be the goal in almost all situations.
Thank you. Okay, so Lewis, you waved your question off. Okay, so I'm going to go to Grange up here in the front. And then to Eric, and then back to Josh.
Jakob, good to see you. Michael Grange from Sportsnet. How much progress do you feel you made compared to the end of the last season with, let's just say, Immanuel Quickley on your pick and roll partnership? And I presume that was maybe a focus of some of these off-season camps you guys went to?
Yeah, it was. It was something we worked on. It's something like I've had just individual conversations with Quick as well, trying to figure out what would be the best way for us to like get our chemistry going as fast as possible. I think we were off to a pretty good start last year. It felt fairly natural, but just like working on those little nuances. So we had a couple times where after practice we would just get together, the two of us, just with a couple coaches, and just go through some reps. We had a little bit of time in Miami as well. We're actually like working out with the same trainers, where we could just get a little bit more experience in. Just really all it is about, like, is being out there on the court together and like going through the motions, and then you'll pick things up or you'll learn more and more about each other, and then I think it'll get better and better from there.
Thank you. To Eric, who's down in front to your right.
Hey, Yak. Eric Corrine, The Athletic. Masai was out here earlier talking about how this is a bit of a rebuilding phase, and then he was very quick to point out that's a front office thing, not a players and coaches type thing, where the focus is obviously more on getting better and winning. From one of the leaders, how does that sit with you, and how good do you think this team could be?
I mean, I think we're all aware of the situation. Like, we had a massive change in the team since like the middle of last season. So we know that we're starting somewhere in the beginning. I think we have a young team, but a talented enough team, and we have enough guys that have some experience and like kind of established themselves in the NBA, to we're not starting from zero. So I think we're definitely capable of winning some games. I know that's not the main focus for us. We're going to go into every single game trying to win it. We're trying to win as many games like as we can this season. We're trying to get to playoff positions where we can gain like really valuable experience and stuff like that. But I think the focus for us is more on getting better as a team. Like this has to be like a long-term project. I think we all know like we're not gonna like go attack the championship this year. Like, but it makes no sense for us to like try and like win every single game like as much as we can and sacrifice development in turn of that. So I think we got to find the right balance there, and as long as we do a good job like growing together, like, I think a lot of our young guys are going to get a lot of opportunities, and we're going to be able to learn from that.
Thank you. To Josh, who's down to your left.
Josh Lewenberg, TSN. Hey, welcome back. I'm just going to follow up on Eric's question. We spoke to you right after the Pascal trade, and you said, to paraphrase a little bit, but you said you're happy to be a part of a developing team as long as they're still trying to win games and being competitive rather than playing for draft picks. Now, you talked a little bit about it there, but what is it about this situation, understanding that not every rebuild is the same, that makes you still feel like the organizational goals and the situation here aligns with you and where you're at in your career right now?
I mean, I think it's pretty much what you said right now. Like, for a team to be like fun and desirable to play on doesn't have to be like a championship contender every single year. It's more about the mindset and the focus that we have as a team, and I think we have a very good a good plan when it comes to the future, and our mindset and our general like energy in the locker room is very positive. So I think those are key components for me, where like, okay, this is a project that makes sense for me. Like, I think a situation where you're maybe trying to hold on to something that doesn't make sense, or like there's like a toxic locker room, or I don't know, like I don't want, like this situation that we have here overall is to me is like a positive one. That's why I think it makes sense for me to be here, and I think I can help this team a lot, and this situation can help me in return. So I think it's like a win-win situation.
2 more questions for you, Yak. Savannah at the very back.
Hey, Yak, hope you had a good summer. In terms of your own expectations for yourself, how will you navigate as a veteran player the frustrations that inevitably come with a rebuilding team? And what does personal success on the court, and I mean off the court I guess as well, look like for you?
I mean, I think it goes along with what I just said, where like our expectation isn't to win like 65 games this year and be in the NBA Finals. I think we can have really positive experiences just based on how we develop, how we improve over the year. Like, we don't need to win every single game for us to have like a positive outlook at the end of the season. Be like, okay, yeah, we had a successful year. So I think that alone helps. And to be honest, I think we put ourselves in a position where we can surprise a bunch of people, where we can exceed expectations. And I think those are things that make for a positive environment. And like at the end of the day, we can look back on the season and be like, yeah, we got better and we got a step closer to where we want to be.
Thank you. And last question is going to go to Aaron, who is down here to your right.
Hi, Yak. Scottie was talking a lot about leadership and how he's developed that over the summer. As one of the guys who's at this point been here the longest with him, how have you seen that develop over the summer, over his whole time here?
I mean, I think Scottie's always been like a very vocal guy, like an emotional and vocal leader. I think the way I've seen him mature the most is almost in the way he understands his teammates. Like he's one of those guys, like he sees things out there on the court that like maybe not everybody else is able to see. Like he makes reads that aren't like necessarily always possible for everybody else, but the way he's like adapting to who's around him, and like he can find ways to like maybe change the way he plays a little bit and helping his teammates out there on the court. I think that's been a really impressive development for a guy that's still very young. Yeah, I'm sure he'll get even better in situations like that in the coming years.
Great. Thank you, Jakob. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks.
Oh, fantastic. Hi, everybody. We're ready to bring Kelly to the podium. So. Thanks. You guys know the drill by now. Questions for Kelly? Raise your hands. Start with Michael Grange down front. Then we'll go to Tony. Then to that very active corner over there.
Kelly, Michael Grange from Sportsnet. Welcome back.
Appreciate it.
We were talking to RJ, and he said just how important it was for him to train with the Raptors immediately after the Olympics. I understand you went to Spain as well.
I did, yeah.
And why did you make that a priority? I mean, obviously you'd already given up a lot of time for your summer. Just maybe walk through that a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, looking back at last year, obviously traded at the trade deadline. And there was a bunch of moves that were made. Brought in a bunch of new guys. We played probably 6 quarters together, and then everybody got hurt or was out, or a lot of different stuff happened where we never got to really be together, play together, build any chemistry or continuity. So that was kind of my reasoning was, I need to get with these guys and start to build some chemistry, some continuity, some connectivity, and really start to gel because it doesn't happen overnight. Everybody knows that. And we never really had the opportunity to at the end of last year. And now you even got new guys in now, some younger guys, some rookies, a couple more trades. So, that was my biggest thing is we got to get together and start playing together and learning, how to play off of each other and with each other and complement each other. So that was the biggest thing for me is just, the more we can get together and play together, the smoother the transition's going to be. And it'll still be a little bumpy, I guarantee you that, but it'll definitely help.
So we're going to Tony, then Chelsea, Samson.
Hi, Kelly. Tony Cañaveral from Mundo Deportivo, Spain. Yes, what stood out to you from Darko the most last season in terms of the communication with the players?
You say, what did he talk to us most about?
No, what stood out you to the most? What would you highlight from
what do I
the
like
way
about him?
Darko relates with the players?
Yeah, I mean, I think he's really good. He knows basketball. He comes from European background, which is a different style of basketball, where everybody kind of moves and touches the ball, and you play through big guys and to facilitate a little more. So it's definitely helps and plays towards my game and being able to make plays and passes and get guys open. But I think as we build here another year in his system, guys will start to get more comfortable, continue to see where they can seize their opportunities and how to make each other better. And I think he's done a good job so far, and I'm looking forward to continue to build with him.
Thanks. Chelsea, Samson, and Josh.
Hey, Kelly, Chelsea Late, Raptors HQ. I'm curious if you could speak a little bit to your experience in Paris after working so hard to get to the Olympics, and then just your experience in the village with your teammates being in Paris, despite the fact that it ended earlier than you may have wanted. But what about the experience as a whole are you taking back now into this team and the season?
Yeah, I mean, Paris was an awesome experience. Obviously, we started up in Lille, which is 3 hours north of Paris, and that's where our first 3 games were. And it felt a little different. It felt more like a glorified basketball tournament up there because we were the only people up there with basketball. You're still in a village, but it was only basketball teams, men's and women's basketball. But once you got to Paris, you could really feel the atmosphere and the energy and enthusiasm, excitement around the games, being in the bigger village. Walking through that and seeing all the different athletes, different countries, everybody, wearing their gear and their country. And it was really, really cool to experience and be a part of, and definitely a memory you'll remember for a long time. Unfortunately, the quarterfinals didn't go how we wanted. I mean, everybody knows that. And it's a weird tournament because, kind of like March Madness, I mean, you could be the number 1 team in the country, win however many games, and you get to and it's basically a 1-game tournament after that for 3 games in a row. So, unfortunately, it didn't go the way we wanted there, but it's a great experience. Something to build off, and you're in history as an Olympian, and once you're an Olympian, you're always an Olympian.
Samson.
Hey, Samson Folk, Raptors Republic. Hope your summer was good. Kelly, I wanted to ask you about Darko's approach. As you mentioned, you guys cut a lot, and a lot of the offense is based off of creating steals, hitting overhead passes, and this, as you said, leans into a lot of your advantages as a player, but kind of ramping up with the Raptors and Darko. Have you learned anything about your game by kind of leaning harder into those aspects of it?
Yeah, I mean, I think I've started to lean into that a little more in a few of the last couple teams I've been on. But yeah, that is the way his offense works. I mean, it's a lot of ball movement, a lot of body movement, different players handling the ball, a little unconventional in terms of NBA style. But I think we have the talent group and skill set for it. And, you have to play towards your team. And I think, that's definitely playing to our advantages.
Thanks. Go ahead, Josh.
Hey, Kelly, Josh Lewenberg, TSN. I just asked Yak a similar question. Of course, you're another vet on this very young roster. Lots of talk from Masai and Darko today about how this is still the early stage of a rebuild. I'm just wondering, I mean, not all rebuilds are the same, and you've been a part of a few of them during your career. What is it about this situation that still aligns with your own personal goals and where you're at in your career, and how do you feel like you can help them being in this stage?
Yeah, this is my 12th year in the NBA. So I've been on, 6 teams now, I guess it is. So you have a lot of experience. You've seen a lot of different things. I've been to the finals. I've been out of the playoffs. I've been on some really good teams and some really bad teams. And so I've seen the whole spectrum, and I think that helps me in terms of being able to share those experiences and that knowledge with some younger players, and helping them kind of accelerate into where they can be. Obviously, it's going to take them a long time to reach their potential and realize it. But if I can accelerate their ability to get there, that's a good thing. And a lot of these young guys, you don't know what you don't know. So just helping them along the way, whether it's on the court, off the court, whatever it is, just trying to help them find their niche in this league and be able to contribute to a winning team.
So we're going to go Ian, S, Will, you, and then Aaron.
Hey, Kelly, over here. Sorry.
Yep, toward your right.
With the jersey retirement here for Vince and then the Hall of Fame induction coming up, can you talk to me about the influence you think he's had on basketball in this country? What did Vince do to kind of set the path for where Canada basketball is now, both internationally and in terms of producing NBA players?
Yeah, I think, obviously the Raptors coming here first in '95 was a huge key to the growth of basketball in this nation as well. And then, obviously with Vince getting drafted, he brought so much energy and enthusiasm and excitement to not only the city of Toronto and the Raptors, but a whole country. He was a walking highlight reel, and everybody coming to the game, you knew when you came you were going to see something that was to be seen, so to speak. So I think he just made it cool or vogue to play basketball and to do it at a high level. Then he kind of broke some barriers on what people even tried to do with the dunk contest and stuff. So I think that you're seeing a lot of kids who, me was one of them, went in their backyards and are trying to emulate what he did on the court. So I think that effect is huge, and I said it the other day. I think what you're now seeing is, I obviously grew up watching Vince Carter. He got drafted here when I was 7, 8 years old. So a lot of my friends and even some older people, we wanted to play basketball so much because of the Raptors and Vince and the excitement it brought. But now you're seeing my age group or those people now have kids, and they're putting their kids into basketball because they are basketball fans now. So now the whole effect is multi-generational, and you're seeing all these kids. When he did the court unveiling and we went there, you have all these kids who are 7, 8, 9 years old. They weren't here when Vince was here. They were, but because their parents were, and their parents got into basketball and were enthusiastic, now the kids are, and now Canada has more resources and ability to, whatever it is, club teams, AAU teams, rec teams,
courts. So now when that new generation is having kids, and now you have a new generation with even more opportunities to play and learn and grow, and with social media and the ability to see everything, now you're going to see it probably grow exponentially. So now it's just, the sky's the limit.
Thank you. So we're going to go to S, who's over on your left.
Hey, Kelly. S. Barahini here from Forbes Sports. Obviously, this is a very young team, and there's 4 rookies coming in. As one of the leaders, which one of the guys has reached out to you to maybe pick your brain early before you guys start camp?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of them have, especially the bigs, asking questions, why do you do this? How do you do this? How do you prevent this from happening? This, that. And it's not any one person on like a chunk of thing. It's just over time. And that's part of, going back to the first question, is why you want to be around, right? Why you want to get together with the team, to be able to do that and share that and help these kids, like I said, accelerate. But a lot of them have. And, I encourage them to keep doing it, because that's the only way you're going to learn and grow. Like I said, they don't know what they don't know. And, there's a lot of things I don't know, but, I have a lot of experience and can help them find those answers.
So we're going to go to Will, who's at the back.
Hey, Kelly.
Right.
I want to ask you about RJ and his growth. You've obviously played a lot with RJ. I'm sure you've known him since he was really young too and stuff. What have you made of his coming to Toronto, and also what are the next steps for him as a player? Because I think he's played a lot of his best basketball since coming back to Toronto.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's just continued to grow as a basketball player. He's still, what was he, 25 years old? He's like, yeah, he's got a lot of room to keep growing and keep getting better. But he's shooting the ball, probably the best I've ever seen him shoot the ball. He's always been able to get to the rim and finish. And now he's playing defense at a higher level than I've ever seen him play. And he's capable of doing it all. And I think that you're really going to see him continue to shoulder a lot of load and continue to get better and kind of just do everything. But he's been awesome. He works his butt off, and I'm happy for him.
Second row in to the left here.
Hi, Kelly. Mark Daniel for the Toronto Sun. You've been around the team since you were a kid. I wanted you to talk a little bit about the importance or significance of the fact that you get to play in the team's 30th season.
Yeah, I mean, I remember when the Raptors first came here, and watching on TV, listening on the radio, going to games in the Sky Dome with binoculars from the very top, like all that. And so first off, it's crazy that it's been 30 years, because if I remember the start, that means I'm older than the Raptors, which is crazy too. But it's pretty surreal to think that 30th anniversary, and then I'm here playing. I told someone earlier today at a different station, it's like, when you grow up, and you dream of playing in the NBA or playing professional sports, you really, like, as a kid, like growing up in Toronto, you don't dream of playing in the NBA. Like, you dream of playing for the Raptors. Like, that's what it's about. That's your dreams, right? Like, or if you grow up in, Boston, you dream of playing for the Celtics, right? And you want to play professionally, but like your real dream is to play for the Raptors, and to know that that's come true. And like, it's one thing to make the NBA and like your dreams became reality, but this is really your childhood dreams becoming a reality and coming to fruition, is playing for the Raptors. And in their 30th year, a monumental year, looking back at, all of the players and coaches and fans and everybody that over the last 30 years, and it's really, really special to be a part of, and you don't take it for granted.
Thanks, Mark. Last question goes to Aaron here on your right.
Kelly. Aaron Rose, SI.com. Similar question. How have you seen basketball in this country grow because of the Raptors over the last 30 years?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just the same thing that I answered before, is, bringing basketball to this country just, brought a whole new look and feel to basketball. The ability to see basketball at the highest level live, and then have some, a team and players and people to follow and watch and learn from and grow from and emulate and admire. Like, those are pretty special things. And to have it in your backyard, not everybody gets the opportunity. There's only 30 cities that have that opportunity, and for Toronto to be one of them, that's amazing. And I think, because of the Raptors and everything they've done to grow the game in Toronto, grow the game in Canada, have the Canada series all over. You're not only seeing the impact in Toronto, but you're seeing it coast to coast. People wanting to play basketball, growing up playing basketball, gravitating towards basketball in a place that used to be predominantly hockey or predominantly other sports. You're seeing people want to play it, and you're seeing the opportunities to play it present themselves at a way more frequent rate than even when I was a kid.
Great. Thanks very much. Thanks, Kelly.
Appreciate it.
have adjusted. Did you get your photo?
I did. I know it's very cold. It's very cold. Questions for Gradey. We'll get started. Start with Josh. We'll go to Akil with his first question of the day. Thank you for joining us, Akil. We'll go to Adam, and then we'll go to Samson. Go ahead, Josh.
Hey, Gradey, welcome back. Josh Lewenberg, TSN. I mean, obviously, last summer would have been such a whirlwind with the draft and just getting accustomed to the team, teammates, surroundings. How much different did this summer feel having a full season under your belt and knowing specifically what to work on? Did it feel like does it feel like you're a little bit more settled going into year number 2?
For sure. A lot less stress, no anxiety. I feel like, being new, it was just, I don't know, it's a different feeling. Yeah, exactly what you said, having a season under your belt, not having to worry about going to different places when we first got to camp and being late and like just all that kind of the stress of being a rookie. But, I'm super grateful, for the season and the vets that I had, the vet I still have with Garrett Temple, pushing me throughout the season and just allowing me to learn, with him. And I think through that it's been amazing.
Akil, who's just on your right there.
Thank you. JQ, good to see you.
Nice to see
Hey, Grady, Akil Augustine, NBA TV Canada. A lot was made of the jump you made mid-season last year and the process that you guys applied to that. How much of this season was similar to that, or this off-season was similar to that, or was it a completely different approach to how you tried to make your jump?
I think really just keep building on what I've been doing. Obviously, I'm not going to remain doing the same thing and stay where I'm at. I always want to push and get better. So I feel like doing that, it was just being consistent, not only on the court, but, in the weight room, nutrition, all that stuff that really just allows me to, be where I want to be and be where I want to be when I hit this season.
Thank you.
Adam Mascaris, Daily Hive, Grady over in the middle here.
Oh, hi.
Throughout your career, you've changed teams a lot, just, growing up through high school, going to college, and now you're kind of here, year 2, part of a sort of a long-term project. Just from a mindset perspective, have you had to change anything when you think, just when it comes to the long-term future of your career, or are you just kind of taking things one day at a time?
For sure, taking things one day at a time. I'm grateful that I get to see these guys again. I guess I really hadn't thought about it like that, but yeah, I went from high school to college straight to here. Hadn't played with the same team, for 2 years, more than 2 years since high school. So, it's cool when you come in. Like I said earlier, with the season under your belt, it's a sense of not only like kind of relief, but really just a preparation and knowing what I need to do to be ready, and to kind of help the chemistry of the team, where you have older guys that are going to lead, but I can still use my kind of knowledge of last season to even help Jacoby and the new guys. So it's having that under my belt that helps me be prepared really.
So we'll go to Samson, and then Champ, then Tony.
Hey, Grady. Just over here, Samson Folk, Raptors Republic. So during the offseason, I watched and tracked all of your jumpers, and so it might not be odd to you, but after you came back from your G League stints, you shot 23 of 51 for 45% on movement threes, which is better than you shot on the easy threes. At Kansas, you shot better on guarded threes than on unguarded. Is this like a told my landlord to raise my rent, that's my grind thing? Like, what makes you so good in the most difficult, I guess, shot context?
Definitely know a lot more than I knew about that, but I think it's just, throughout that season, it was really just being prepared. I feel like I've talked about it a lot already, but that was the biggest advice Garrett, Temple told me was in a season of 82 games, preparation is key. You never know what's going to happen, especially with our season. We had a lot of stuff happen during the season where, I was called to play more minutes, and I'm grateful for that. But I think through that, as I was prepared, it kind of just seeing the ball go through the goal in practice kind of helped build that confidence where I was shooting those numbers.
Very back row there for you, Grady.
Gradey, Champ from ABS-CBN News. You're officially on year 2. You're not a rookie anymore. How happy are you you're not doing rookie duties anymore? And do you have anything lined up for the rookies in terms of hazing?
Well, I guess to Garrett, I'm technically a rookie till the first game. So I'm not out of the clear yet. But yeah, no, my rookie duty was always the playing cards on the plane. But I already saw in the group chat someone else is going to get them right now, so that feels amazing, for sure.
And right next to him, Tony.
Hi, Gradey. Yeah, thank you. Yes, RJ Barrett was explaining a very funny story about Darko and you. Darko joking about your kind of messy hair at some moment last season. What personally means to you having a coach like Darko, and plus, like he's gonna be also like a sophomore entering this season, like you. Thank you.
Yeah. No, I love Coach Darko. He. I mean, I always have my flow. So last year I always leave some gel out of it going into practice, and he, I think, probably a couple weeks straight every single day asked me when I need a haircut, all that stuff, trying to give me his number to his barber. But no, it's great when you have a coach like that just wants the best for you. He can also, you get along with personally, and it's amazing, but also knows, he's not going to let you get anything easy. And, if he stops yelling at me, that's when I want to be worried. That shows he won't care. But as of right now, I hear a lot of it. So it's great.
Thank you. So we're going to go Sean, and then down here to Chitters, and then back to Liban.
Hey, Gradey. Sean Woodley, Locked On Raptors. Gary Trent, biggest offseason exit for the team. Seems to be a starting job available. Have you had conversations with Darko and the staff about whether that's going to be you? And if there's a competition, obviously, it seems like that'll be the case. What's your sort of pitch as a player to fit into that starting five? How can you complement IQ, RJ, Scottie, Yak in that group?
I mean, I think it's really just taking it one day at a time. And in my case, I'm going to try my best to be in the position that the team needs. And it's not me pushing my agenda. It's really the role that I need to fill. And if that calls for the starting position, then I'm going to put my all into that. And really the main goal of this whole season is just to win. Winning solves a lot. We play good or bad, you win, a lot of stuff gets forgotten. So we just want to win, really.
So, John.
Hey, Gradey. John Chidley Hill with the Canadian Press. You sort of touched on it a little bit, but what are your personal goals or maybe expectations for the season, just for your individual performance?
Yeah, I'm always going to harp on, as I said, filling that role and just doing what's best for the team. And I don't want to ever go out there and be someone who I'm not and play outside my game, because I feel like I know my game the best, obviously because it's my game, but I don't know, I feel like I'm repeating myself, but it's just what the team needs. I just want to go there, talk to coaches, sit down and watch film with Coach Evo. He's my personal shooting coach. Go in there and take the steps it takes to get to where we want to be.
Thanks. Two more questions for you, Gradey. One from Liban, who is to your left.
Liban Osman from Toronto Star. Gradey, last time we saw you talked about gaining weight, 9 pounds. Is there an update on that? And then also just talking about working with Ivo. Like, what's that been like for you just the last year or so, and this summer too?
Yeah, I feel like locking in on the nutrition side, not only the weight side, but just learning how important it is to get the right foods and drinks in your system where you are lifting and getting that in you. So I feel like once I kind of locked in that consistently, and I'm still 20, so I feel like as I get older, it's just naturally gonna get there, and the more work I put in, I feel better with my body for sure.
Thanks. Last questions from Michael Grange down front.
Hey, Gradey. Michael Grange from Sportsnet. With all the work you did last season, is there something coming into this year where you just feel you got that nailed? Like, is there a certain skill set or a certain understanding that you feel you can build on from?
I think just continue to learn the game and the spacing of an NBA court. Obviously, there's going to be bumps in the road. I'm not going to say the season's going to be perfect, but I feel like I have gotten better at just. I would tend to overthink on the defensive side in the rookie season where I don't want to make a mistake here and just thinking too much of it where ultimately I would. So just going out there talking with coaches and Coach Darko gave me advice of just go out there and play your game. You're here for a reason, and once I kind of fully dove into that, I just kind of understand that I'm when I'm having fun, I'm playing better, and it's a game I've been playing since a little kid. So just go out there and enjoy it early.
Great. Thank you, Gradey.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody. That's all the players coming through here.